Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, September 25th through Sunday, October 1st, 2017. For this week's weekly reading, we're going to be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha for the main message. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. So let's start by looking at your stones of choice. Now I have to preface this by saying that this week Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth and transformation, is going to be going to direct motion. So I chose stones that kind of emulated that really deep, subconscious, transformative type of energy. So your first stone of choice is actually obsidian. Obsidian is a shiny black stone, and this is a very powerful and protective type of stone. It helps to ground the soul and spiritual forces into the physical plane, and that helps to also make manifestation possible. It has us face our fears. It has us face our true self. It has us face our shadow side and bring that shadow side to the surface of the subconscious so that it can be released and healed. This stone also helps to heal past lives. Your second stone of choice is Orthoceras. Let me see if I can get a good grip on it here to show you. The Orthoceras is actually a fossil, and you can see that fossil here, that ancient fossil embedded in the stone. And this Orthoceras is actually a stone of transformation, transition, personal growth. It's very helpful in helping you to understand the process of change. It's a talisman for protection. And it's also really good at helping to reduce stress, anxiety, toxins in the body, low energy, and things of that nature. So again, this is an ancient stone, and in those ancient times, again, it was used as that talisman for protection. All right, and then your last stone of choice. This is chiastolite. I don't know if you can get a good see on that or not. I'm doing this late in the afternoon and the sun is not really coming through the window, but chiastolite is a brown stone, and it's got a black X in the middle of it, and that's the part I'm not sure that you can see. It's just a perfect black X here, and it's on actually both sides of the stone. And chiastolite is a powerful and protective stone as well, used in ancient times to ward off negative energy from outside sources. This helps to aid with problem solving and change. It helps to transmute conflict into harmony. It's helpful with death and rebirth energies within your lives, and it helps to calm fears. So again, your stones of choice for the week are the obsidian, the Orthoceras fossil, and the chiastolite. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the astrology for the week. We start out on Monday, the 25th of September, and we have Mercury, the planet of the mind, the planet of the mental realm. So it rules our thoughts and our ideas and the way we communicate, both with ourselves and with other people. It is actually in a challenging aspect to Saturn in Sagittarius. Okay, so first of all, Mercury is in the sign of Virgo. That is one of the signs that it naturally rules in the zodiac, but Mercury in Virgo can be really super logical, very analytical, wants the facts and wants to see how things actually work. You know, they want to see things with their own eyes. So with it squaring Saturn, and Saturn's in Sagittarius, which can be a manifester of blessings, but it's also bringing up these lessons about our belief systems. And it's been doing that, you know, for quite some time because Saturn has been in Sagittarius for quite a few months now. With Mercury squaring Saturn, and you might feel this on Sunday as well as Monday when the actual connection takes place, this might bring about some challenging thought processes. This might bring about restrictive communications. So in other words, if we're communicating with other people, we might have a hard time expressing ourselves or kind of getting our point across with the other person being able to understand what we're trying to say. Again, it might dampen our ability to come up with creative ideas because it's a challenging square and Saturn has that restrictive, limiting quality, but again, it has a grounding effect. So it can assist if you really stay in a place of patience, not getting into that Mercury and Virgo anxiety or nervousness or impatience or doubt or fears. If you can stay away from that energy, then the square to Saturn, although it might come through as a challenging energy or it might just take a little bit of extra effort and focus, you can actually create a good solid foundation with the ideas or the communications that you're having on that day. But just be aware that there might be some, some issues, if you will, of how we're thinking in regards to ourselves, our self-worth, thinking that in a perfectionistic way rather than accepting ourselves as perfect just the way we are, and as well as, again, that restrictive influence with communications with other people or with coming up again with good ideas and thoughts in order to move forward on your path. Now on Wednesday and Thursday, the 27th and the 28th, Jupiter is going to be opposing Uranus. And this depends on your time zone in the world, and that's why it's occurring on both of those days. So it depends on your time zone. It actually occurs at 12:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday morning, so just after midnight for the folks in the Eastern time zone here in the United States. If you're on the West Coast in the California area, this actually happens on Wednesday night Pacific time, 3 hours earlier. So anyway, Jupiter is a planet of blessings, yes. And it's also a planet that rules our belief systems. It's in Libra right now, so we're talking a lot about what do we believe about relationships and about partnerships, not just romantic relationships and partnerships, but all of our one-on-one connections. And also, what do we believe about staying in a place of balance and harmony and equality and fairness and justice, because all of those are Libra keywords as well. So Jupiter is having us explore all of these ideas, again, on our belief system level, and with it opposing Uranus, it's going to, I really feel it's going to open us up even more. It's like we're going to start to have these aha moments and see things or understand things from a different perspective that we may not have understood in quite the same way before. So this is I feel like this is a good aspect because Uranus is that higher vibrational God mind energy, and it's opening up our crown chakra to, again, look at things from just a little bit, different perspective, or the other person's perspective, or the other group's perspective, or, whatever it is that we're talking about here. Now, again, our perceptions can really expand into a kind of multi-universal consciousness sense, if you will, because Jupiter is a planet of expansion and Uranus is going to kick it up a few notches. So I think this is really going to be powerful. And actually around the same time period, this actually occurs on Thursday the 28th, is Pluto, the planet of power, the planet of transformation, transmutation, regeneration, death and rebirth, is stationing and going to direct motion at 16 degrees of Capricorn. So in the days leading up to this, now this, we've been feeling this probably for at least the last week, not just this week, but from the previous week as well, as Pluto's been slowing down. It's been maybe bringing up some power and control issues with other people or with circumstances and situations in our life. And it's been definitely bringing to the surface of our subconscious disempowerment issues, disempowerment energies, disempowerment thoughts and belief systems, disempowering emotions and feelings within ourselves. So again, Pluto is highly transformational. It's a planet of big, huge changes and transitions. So as this is turning to direct motion, again, we're going to see the most intensity with it, a day or two before and a day or two after, and especially right after it turns direct, the moon actually is in Capricorn, connecting with Pluto on that day, Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll be making a challenging square aspect to Uranus and Aries. So it's going to be highly transformational, I want to say Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. Also on Friday, the 29th, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, money, and finances, it's in Virgo right now, and it's going to be opposing Neptune and Pisces on Friday. So we might not be seeing relationships clearly or our money situation clearly on that day, or we might have some things that kind of happen that cause a little bit of confusion. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Like, let's say in relationships, you're having a communication with your partner. Maybe you're communicating over text or an email, and they take it the wrong way, or things are just misinterpreted. You know, it can be something as simple as that. So don't really blow that out of proportion, but just be aware that you might have to be a little bit more clear and concise when it comes to relationship and financial matters on Friday. Also on Friday the 29th, Mercury, the planet of, again, the mental realm, which started out the beginning of this week in a challenging aspect to Saturn. Now it's moving out of Virgo and it's moving into the sign of Libra. So our thoughts are going to become a little bit more balanced. Our thoughts, communications are going to be a little bit more focused on relationship matters, partnership matters, matters of, again, justice and equality, and become much more balanced and harmonious. Okay, and I didn't write down how long it was going to be in the sign of Libra, but typically Mercury stays in a sign of each sign of the zodiac about 3 weeks. So, you know, we're looking at several weeks here of Mercury being in that partnership sign. And then on Sunday, the 1st of October, this is heralding us into a new month. So also, just to let you know, pretty soon I will be having the monthly angel card reading for October up. So you'll want to be watching for that new monthly reading as well, because on Sunday the 1st, Mars, which is in Virgo, is going to be making a positive aspect to Pluto. And again, this is going to be especially powerful because Pluto just went to direct motion on the 28th. And so here we are just a few days later, and Mars is going to be connecting in a powerful and positive way with Pluto. So it's ramping up our ability to empower ourselves, or to take our power back from some sort of, again, disempowering energy or circumstance. All right. So there's a lot going on. That's pretty much, you know, all we're going to talk about as far as the astrology, but that was quite a bit. There's a lot going on this week astrologically. So let's now look at what our angels and guides have to say for the week. So turning over the first card, okay, we start with the Eight of Chalices, which is the Eight of Cups in the traditional tarot. Traditionally, the Eight of Cups is about, you know, walking away from, again, something that's disempowering. It's time to walk away. You're looking for something better. You're looking for something deeper. You're looking for something more, what do I want to say, more personal or more soul related, something that you're more in tune with emotionally. So here we have a figure, and it seems like we had this in last week's weekly reading, if I recall correctly, somewhere along the line. But we have a figure that's walking away from 8 cups, and these 8 various cups, some of them are darkened over here, and they get lighter and lighter as we go this way. So not all is lost as far as what you're walking away from. You're still going to be hanging on to some semblance of this, you know, emotional energy, the parts that are more empowering, the parts that are more positive, the parts that are stronger within you. You'll be keeping those parts. You're just walking away from, again, whether it be a belief system within you, an emotion that needs to be let go of, a situation or circumstance. It's time to remove yourself and let go of what, again, is disempowering you in your life. But let's take a look at the next card and see if we can gain more information as we move throughout the week. Okay, we have Major Arcana number 4, and in this deck it's called Reason. Now, this, in the traditional tarot, Major Arcana number 4 is the Emperor card. And the Emperor is about stability. It's about creating a solid foundation. It's about manifestation. And the emperor is a very powerful figure. You know, if you think about what the emperor represents, he's a very powerful, although grounded figure. Now in this card, it's called Reason. And we have what looks like almost a Merlin type of figure here sitting. And he's got something in his hand here that's glowing. It almost reminds me of like a talisman, interestingly enough. So this talisman is glowing, and it's almost like he's divining something with it. It's, you know, he's looking down, he's swinging it or holding on to it, and it's almost like he's trying to divine some sort of answer. He's trying to reason through something and understand something, again, at a deeper level, according to what I'm getting from this card. And this is very much that Pluto kind of energy. You know, we had that Jupiter opposing Uranus and coming into some insights. Pluto moving into the subconscious and transforming certain disempowering energies. So this is really in alignment with what this is all about. Now, thinking about this a little bit further, it's interesting because I almost wonder, you know, there's 5, which is interesting because it says Major Arcana number 4, but I see 5 symbols above this person's head. And it almost reminds me that this may in fact be the Hierophant. So this is really strange to me because Major Arcana number 4 is the Emperor card, but Major Arcana number 5 is the Hierophant. So I'm going to say there's no mistakes. Maybe there's a mistake in the printing of this card, but there's no mistakes that this came up. And it even makes even more sense that this is the Hierophant because of the 5 things above the head and the phrase of reason there, because the Hierophant is going to be one that does try to logically understand something from an esoteric or higher perspective. So now I'm going to have to go back to my deck and take a look at what's going on with the Emperor and the Hierophant card and make sure what's going on here. But we're going to read this both ways because that's the way it's showing itself, through being Major Arcana number 4 here, but yet seemingly being the Hierophant. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last 2 cards. And I say the last 2 cards because I meant to pull 1 card. As a lot of you know, I usually pick 3 cards and sometimes an extra card, but when I pulled the 3rd card, 2 cards came out. So we're going to look at both of those cards. And the first of the last 2 cards. Okay, this is Major Arcana number 13, and it's called Transition in this deck. Now this definitely is correct because the traditional tarot, Major Arcana 13, is the Death card, and Pluto rules death and rebirth. So this card, it's not surprising that it came up. Now, transition doesn't necessarily mean that it's a physical transition, okay? Sometimes, you know, every once in a while it could mean that, so there could be some things with transition happening with some people and family and loved ones and whatnot, but more so, and more often than not, this is about an internal transformation, an internal transition. So it's a death and rebirth in the sense of you letting old parts of your psyche fall away so that new parts can take its place. So you're going kind of through a death and rebirth on a soul level is what this card is really about. And we see this person rising, you know, it's like part of her soul or spirit is rising from the bed and moving through this portal of light. So, you know, in essence, she's transitioning to a higher state of awareness, a higher state of beingness, a higher state of love. And that's really, again, the essence of what this card means. So you're going through an internal death and rebirth. And again, to recap from the first card, you're moving away from disempowering energies here. So far, this is making a lot of sense. But let's look at the last card. Okay, the last card is Major Arcana number 14, and it's called Alchemy. And that's actually right after Major Arcana 13 with Transition. So now we move to the Alchemy state, which is taking something. Usually alchemy is about taking a substance and transforming it into a new substance. And that's exactly, you know, what we're doing by following the Transition card. We're going through a death and rebirth on an internal level. We're moving to a higher state of beingness or a higher state of awareness. having more insights, moving more into the truth of our soul, empowering ourselves by doing so. And here with the alchemy, we're now, again, transforming, transitioning, creating magic in a sense, because we're creating something from what we already have. But this something that we're creating is something totally different. Okay, so it's almost like turning water into fire. It seems impossible, but the ancient alchemists, they turned lead into gold. They took substances and they transformed them into something that no one ever thought could be possible. So here we have a great big ball, a red ball of light or some sort of substance. Whatever this substance is, it seems more solid. And here we have the fire beneath it transforming it. So it's that, Plutonian kind of death and rebirth, that fire of the phoenix, if you will. If you think about the phoenix, it's like rising from the ashes. This we're transforming into something else. So this week, we're transforming aspects of ourselves. We're transitioning and transforming aspects within ourselves, or even circumstances and situations in our lives, into something higher, something different, something better. All right, so let's take a look at your special message card depending on your stone of choice. So give these a couple of shuffle, and we're going to ask our angels and archangels to come in and give whatever special message is necessary for those that chose the obsidian. And I keep on looking at this one here. So obsidian people. Ooh, major arcana number 12. So we have another major arcana here for you. This is called Perspective with Archangel Chamuel. And it says, there's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight and dare to be different. So this is about looking at things from a higher perspective, a different perspective, just like we were talking about with Jupiter opposing Uranus. So your angels and guides want you, to, again, expand your perception, expand your viewpoint, move outside your ego mind, move into your higher self, and look at things from the God mind energy, from the spiritual mind, from the bigger, look at the bigger picture. It's not about the small picture of what you think you're seeing, but it's about a bigger picture that's yet unfolding. So again, it's all about perspective in your belief systems as far as what's going on. Now, Archangel Chamuel is an archangel that assists with our life purpose, okay? So if you think about, again, your life purpose, which can involve, the great big picture of who you are as a soul, what you're here to be doing, what you're here to be learning, and all of that. Call upon Archangel Chamuel to, again, assist you in looking at something from a different perspective. You'll see that this archangel is kind of hanging upside down. And, if you did that, if you really hung yourself upside down, the whole world would look different. So that's kind of the message or the essence of the card. If you stand on your head, if you stand sideways instead of facing something straight on, you're going to get that different perspective of what's really happening and what's really going on. All right. For those of you that chose the Orthoceres, so asking for, and this one's calling my attention, the Orthoceres people, the Nine of Michael, and this is the Nine of Swords in the traditional tarot. And this actually says your worry is unnecessary. Focus your thoughts on the outcome you desire. Release feelings of regret, guilt, or worry to your angels. Okay, I'm going to read that first sentence again. Your worry is unnecessary. So all of those thoughts of the ego mind, again, which is kind of being brought up by Pluto going to direct motion, the stuff, the shadow side of the personality is being kind of brought to the surface of your subconscious so that it can be healed. So release the worry, release the doubts, let go of all of those old, heavy, if you want to call it, I want to say less than positive rather than using the term negative. Release those less than positive thoughts. This is mostly a suit of the mental realm, because the Michael suit in this deck is the sword suit. So this is traditionally the Nine of Swords, which deals again with those ego, negative mind, shadow thoughts, basically. Fears, doubts, and worries. It's time to let go of those, because again, they seem to be unfounded. Your angels and guides here are saying it's unnecessary, they're unfounded. Focus instead on what you want your outcome to be. because your power of manifestation, your ability to empower your reality, to manifest your reality, is very great with your thoughts, as we know. So get a handle on your thoughts and change them to glass half full instead of glass half empty. All right, and for those of you that chose the chiastolite, let's give these a little bit of a shuffle here. This one's calling my attention. Oh, okay, I thought 2 was going to come out, but nope. We got the 4 of Raphael. The 4 of Raphael, it seems like we got this one recently too, like in last week's reading. It says, seek out other possibilities. Look for the magic in life. Be aware of your own emotions. So this is traditionally the 4 of Cups, which means don't close yourself down to other possibilities. Open up your heart chakra. Open up, you know, your energy field and look around. See the magic around you. See the possibilities around you, the potentials that are around you. This woman is sitting on the beach. She's looking down. She's looking a little depressed. You know, she looks like she's almost, you know, giving up. She's not putting out her energy in any positive direction, when there's Archangel Raphael right in the background above the ocean, standing behind her, you know, wanting her to kind of turn around and see the possibility of the healing that can take place if she just opens up her heart and her mind to these other potential possibilities. Okay, so I hope you've liked this weekly angel card reading. Again, don't forget to look for the monthly angel card reading for October coming soon. Thank you to everyone who comments and shares and likes and subscribes to the channel. I appreciate all of your support, all of your love, all of your ideas even. A lot of you send in your ideas sometimes and in assistance through information. So I appreciate all of that. But I send you all many, many blessings of love and light until we meet again in the next video. So namaste, everyone.